Welcome to another edition of First and 10 with Rams football coach Joe Prud'homme. I'm Jimmy the St. Christopher. Rams' third shutout of the season was a 35-0 whitewashing of Sagoo. Rams dominated in time of possession. They ran up 465 total yards, but the big play that set the tone for the defense was a blocked punt in the end zone for the safety. And how much did that set the tone?
Oh, it's big. It's really, really big. I mean, it just, like you said, it sets a tone. It kind of gets that your mojo going a little bit. You're more revved up. You feel really good. You can jump on a big play, and you just kind of take it from there. It was a great way to start the game. It really was.
You guys now 5-1 overall, 4-1 in the SAC. And the defense, talk about the defense. Jay Reed, a couple of picks. Chance Carroll, Da'Lon Rogers, each had one. Negative 25 yards for, you were saying, what, the third time this year for negative rushing yards. How proud are you of defensive coordinator Paul Duckworth and his charges?
Paul's doing a great job. I mean, Duck is doing a fantastic job. They're playing the best team defense we've been playing since we've been here, where everything complements each other. The secondary coverage has been really, really strong. The front seven has been really in sync. Their gap integrity has been good. It's just the chemistry on the defensive side is, it's been a long time coming to get to that point. But those guys are really playing well together, and that's why you're seeing the kind of numbers put up that they are. The interceptions were really good. There was good pressure on them, but they were in good position. And then the way we're fitting the gaps on the run defense is great. I don't ever remember a team having three rushing defensive efforts that were minus yards against the guy that was the preseason conference player of the year pick for offense. And when you hold Dudek down like that, that's a huge accomplishment.
And it was a 5-0 early lead and 15-0 at the half. Second half, Ernie Caesar came out with an electrifying 75-yard run. How much did that set the tone?
It's great. I mean, it's great when you get a big play like that, and Ernie just was. I mean, he was feeling his way, picking his way, and then he sees the gaps and sees a little bit of space. He's gone, and that's the great thing about Ernie is he's hard to see. I think is part of it, but his burst. He has so many different gears when he's running. You're getting a beat on him on this angle, then he just takes a little extra step. Then you're out of position. But those kinds of plays are huge momentum swings, and they really, we talked all week about having a strong third quarter. We got to have a strong third quarter. We got to have, because we always come out of the third quarter a little sluggish, it seems like. But Ernie kind of put us at a good tone for us. There was great blocks all along the way, and we were real proud of that.
And another solid game by quarterback Dalton Dale. He started unloading some bombs there in the second half. Was that part of the game plan for the second half, to kind of start throwing deeper?
Well, the thing was that they had so many guys in the box. I mean, the box was really, really packed. There was 8 and 8 times 9. And if we don't back them off with some long balls, then they're just going to stay there and continue to hammer us. Their front seven's as good as anybody in the conference. Between the linebackers and that whole front 5 guys, everybody wants to call 3-4. I call it a 5-2, but it was impressive, the guys they had. And if we didn't start throwing deep and have some success doing it, it could have become a real long night for us. But that was part of the game plan, and to take what they give us, and the pass protection was truly, truly spectacular. The pass protection was outstanding.
And then Francisco Castillo handled kickoffs. It was 2 out of 4 from field goals. Was he kind of rusty because he hasn't kicked for a while, you think?
He's a kickoff specialist for us right now. And he was struggling just a little bit on it. I mean, you hit a 47-yarder, it's hard to say he's struggling when you see these other schools over the weekend, big-time Big 12 schools losing because they can't convert a field goal at 37 yards or 27 yards or whatever. It was his plant foot a little bit, was off. And Mike Lee, our kicking coach, was working with him on it. And his plant foot was there off just a little bit, and he managed to push it. The rush was pretty heavy. He hadn't been doing any PAT field goal stuff live. That was his first time to do it. The rush was really strong, and I think he peaked up, once for sure, maybe twice, and that caused him to struggle a little bit. But we got all the confidence in the world in Francisco.
I guess the only bugaboo is, we were talking earlier, it was a nice team effort by the Rams in the 35-0 shutout of Sagoo, but I guess the only bugaboo would be 18 penalties for 147 yards.
Yeah,
how did that happen?
That's a great question. We went back and looked at film, and I just have to disagree with what I saw. There's probably about 6 or 7. There was 3 false starts, and we ran it back and couldn't find any movement of anywhere. And and the foul report didn't match the calls, and I think it was a tough night in a lot of areas. After watching the film, I just have to say I disagree with over half of the calls. I'd say we probably earned about 6 or 7 that were good calls. It was a little inconsistent on some of the calls. There were some really, tight calls, nitpicking, and then there was just a free-for-all at times for stretches of time, and back to that. And so I don't know. After studying film, I just think we turn the page and move on. But we're going to address it. The ones that we see that we can fix, we'll fix. The ones that I don't have an answer for, I'm not going to punish or berate my kids on something that I can't even find on film. But we will tighten up on that. But the week before we had a good deal of penalties, much better night, and the week before even better. So I would say that was a trend in a different direction that I didn't see happening.
And of course, the big showdown with Langston coming up this week, we'll dive into a little bit. Now, going back to the week before the SAGU game, I've heard a number of people say, well, that's a trap game, this is a trap game. Do you believe in that statement, that a game could be a trap game, that a team could be looking too far ahead to the next week? In this case, the Rams looking forward to playing Langston?
No question. I completely believe in trap games. I completely believe that any team can beat anybody on every Saturday or Friday or Sunday or whatever it is. I fully believe that is true, that if you are distracted or you are looking ahead or you're not focused completely on your opponent, you could set yourself up for a long night or a long day, whatever it is. Because if you're not ready to go and you're not fully focused on the matter at hand, even from play to play, from drive to drive, quarter to quarter, if you get ahead of yourself, there's a real good chance you can get knocked off. Or you put yourself in a position where you can't even compete in the game. No, I full-heartedly believe in the Bill Parcells trap games. I think that is very real, and I do all I can to guard against it.
So what wasn't a trap game is over. Now the Rams look forward to playing Langston, number 21 in the country. They're 5-0, 4-0 in the SAC. Coming off a bye week, they rolled up a whole bunch of yards per game, almost 47 a game. Allowed just 14.4. That's just behind the Rams' 12.8, by the way. Nearly 500 in offense, top run and pass D, and they're just behind the Rams in total D allowed. So we could probably talk all the rest of the afternoon, the rest of the week on the Lions, but size up those Langston Lions.
Really good, man. They've got a great run game. Their quarterback's dangerous. Harrington's very dangerous. If he rolls out and he starts to create, that's where he can hurt you. That's how he got us last year. There's a few scramble plays he turned into touchdowns. Their defense is very, very sound, very athletic. Their gap integrity is great. Their secondary is very athletic. Kicking game is real solid. If we're not ready to go, we're in trouble. If we don't play at a very high level, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. We have to play well in all three phases. Because like you said, you've already said it, you also, they have the least amount of first downs allowed on them in the conference. Third down conversions, they're number 1 against and for. Same with fourth down conversions back and forth. Statistically, it's a mismatch, if you look at it, but also you have to take into effect who everybody's played. That's part of it. But the other part is we're very evenly matched, I think. I think they've got the edge in tradition. They got the edge in experience. But boy, they're athletic, well coached. It's a good-looking Langston Lion team coming in here Saturday.
And usually there's a couple of keys to beating the team. And how many keys do you think there are to them? And what would be the main key to stopping them?
We got to slow down their run game, and we got to be able to establish our run game. It's going to boil down to that because both teams are going to really want to run the football. The other is to contain Harrington and don't let him get loose on his scramble stuff, and don't let him get going on his bootlegs and his rollouts. And we got to really contain that, and we need to win the special teams battle. We have to win the special teams battle, and that'll set up the field position. And that was a big key Saturday night, this last one, is we had such good field position all night. We have to do that again this week in order to be successful.
Now, I notice they have really good third down numbers on offense. So how big will that be stopping them on third down?
Oh, it's huge. We have to win the third down battle. I mean, we have to get off the field. We have to get our defense off and get our offense back on. We got to shut down their conversion rates, or at least limit it as much as we can. A team as good as Langston, you don't shut them down. You slow them down. You hope to slow them down. But it's going to boil down to who can run the ball and which quarterback makes the fewest mistakes. and can make the plays. And then it'll boil down to the special teams battle and where the ball is set up for field position.
Now, how do you handle this week in talking to the team? A big game, obviously, with Langston. Do you change your approach to mindset for this game, or is it just business as usual?
I would say it's business as usual to a certain degree, but you also ratchet up the intensity on some details that, you do it every week. You do your details every week, but there's a few things that we're going to take to a little higher level to get us ready for that. Better attention to some of the situations like we talked about. But ever since Ottawa, all we talk about is whoever's in front of us. And last week, SAGU was our entire universe. That's all that mattered, was how we're going to play against them, how we focus on them, how we're going to have success. And it's going to be that way with Langston, but there's going to be some things that we have to be a little higher level of execution, and we'll really emphasize that in practice.
And it's the first day game. There's been 4 night games under the lights at Farrington. This is the first day game, 2 o'clock kick.
Yeah.
Do you prefer day or night?
Day. I prefer day. I like the night games to a certain extent. If it depends on the weather. If it's hot, I don't want to. Obviously, we went out and played at Plainview with Wayland. It was a day game. We played great. And the thing about it is, you practice so much in that time frame area. Their bodies are more used to performing at that time. So I get a little nervous about different big time changes for games versus practice. So this ought to sync up good for us. It's going to be warm on Saturday. They're talking about a high of 86, 87 degrees. We're going to have to really have our guys in a condition and take care of them hydration-wise and nutrition-wise and all that to make sure they're ready to go. Because if we don't, we're going to be in trouble. Cramps and things of that nature can come and get you. Langston has been playing day games, so they're a little more used to it than we are. But we really performed well, or at least we did, the last one. And I like the day game. I like the rhythm of the day games.
I do too, and it's easier to see.
Yes.
These old eyes, even with glasses, it's easier.
Amen. Amen.
To see. You talked about hydration during the week. Now, does that increase, more than you normally would hydrate now for a warm game, for a day game?
Yeah, no question about it. You pay better attention to all those things, and not that you don't do it anyway, because we do it every week. But now there's got to be a bigger emphasis on it because we are playing at a warm time of the day, and we haven't had that. We haven't had an 86-degree day. Out in Arizona, it was hot, but it was night, so it felt a little different. So this will be a chance for us to really, hopefully, control that part of it. And the more we can control of their hydration, their nutrition, their routine, the better I feel going into a game, because you really sync them up and you get them ready for that, that game, that performance, whatever they're going to do. Whereas when you're at home sometimes, you eat and you're at the mercy of some things here that you don't have on the road. But we're going to take some of those things and try to take control of it.
What's going to be the color combo of the uniforms?
We don't ever say that until it comes
Okay.
out.
All right.
I thought last week looked really...
It wasn't a stump, but I couldn't get them to reveal.
No, I'm not going to do that
Okay.
one. But I thought last week looked really good with the gold navy. We haven't worn that combination before.
Right.
And I thought it looked really good. Some of the kids make suggestions. Jaden Suarez makes suggestions. The coaching staff makes suggestions. So we're going to go with a look that we haven't worn this year. And I don't even know if we wore it last year. So we'll see. It's going to be a little different. We just had our staff meeting, and took some suggestions there. Then some of the guys will make suggestions. So we'll see. But if you look at us on Twitter, they always have the night before what the combo is going to be.
Right.
Tomorrow's threads is what he calls it. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So,
well, I'll look forward to seeing Twitter the day before on Friday with the color combo of uniforms. And we'll look forward to the game too, Coach. Whatever color it is, go round up those Lions.
I think it's going to be a great game. You got 2 ranked teams in town now. You got Fort Worth. You got Wesleyan, the Rams, and you got TCU. So you got 2 nasty ranked teams in the same city. I don't know of any other place that has that right now, which is pretty cool. I'm really rooting for them. That was a great win for TCU. It was a great win for us. Hopefully we can just keep paralleling going where we're going. So
we're all looking forward to 2 p.m. Saturday at Farrington. Rams' big game with the Langston Lions. It'll be a slobber knocker. We'll hit the air, we being Brandon Snow and myself, ramsports.net /live, around 1:55 or so, 5 or 10 minutes before the broadcast. And you have some interesting band news.
Yeah, it's going to be a really cool event. We're going to have Dunbar and the Wyatt high school bands are coming, and they're going to be doing a battle of the bands. They're going to come out, and we're going to feed them with a little tailgate about 1 o'clock, and then they're going to bring it, and they're going to put on a show. They're going to do part of the halftime show, and they're going to be playing throughout the game. It'll make it a great atmosphere. We're real excited that they're coming, and man, they just add so much to a game. And so, yeah, Battle of the Bands on Saturday as well, a little bonus feature.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember seeing Dunbar last year. Haven't seen O.D. Wyatt yet, so that's going to be fabulous. 2 o'clock Saturday, Farrington Field, Langston, and the Rams. It's going to be a good one. Go get them, Coach Joe.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
For Coach Joe Prud'homme, I'm Jimmy the St. Christopher. Until next time, see you on 1st and 10.